First contact fallout. The stars looked different from the observation deck of the Earth United Space Force vessel Endeavour. Captain Elena Reyes stood with her hands clasped behind her back, watching the massive alien space station grow larger as they approached. After decades of searching, humanity had finally made contact with an advanced civilization, the Viridian Collective. "Captain, we're being hailed by the station," said Communications Officer Maya Patel, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "Put it through," Elena ordered, straightening her navy blue uniform with its silver insignia of Earth United. A melodious voice filled the bridge. "Earth vessel, this is Proxima Station. You are cleared for docking at Bay 17. The Viridian representatives await your arrival." Elena nodded to Maya. "Confirm receipt and inform them we're on final approach." The Endeavour was humanity's finest vessel, built with their most advanced technology. Even so, Elena felt a twinge of uneasiness. Initial probe data suggested the Viridians were centuries ahead of humans. Their ships moved faster than anything Earth had built, and their energy signatures indicated weapons systems beyond current human understanding. Commander Kai Chen joined her at the viewport, his weathered face reflecting the starlight. He was Earth's top xenodiplomat, with decades of theoretical first-contact training that was finally being put to use. "Nervous, Captain?" he asked quietly. "Cautiously optimistic," Elena replied with a small smile. "This meeting could change everything for humanity." Kai nodded. "Or end everything. Let's hope they're friendly." The docking procedure went smoothly. Elena led a team of 12 onto the station, including Kai and Lieutenant James Wilson, their intelligence officer. James was young but brilliant, with analytical skills that had earned him this historic assignment despite his age. The station's interior was breathtaking, vast crystalline corridors with walls that shimmered in patterns suggesting conscious design rather than mere decoration. At the end of a long hallway stood the Viridian delegation. Elena had seen images from probe data, but nothing prepared her for meeting them in person. The Viridians stood nearly 7 feet tall with sleek bodies covered in iridescent scales that shifted colors as they moved. Their faces featured 4 eyes positioned in a diamond pattern, and they had no visible mouth, only a series of gill-like structures at their necks that pulsed rhythmically. The leader stepped forward, a translucent device at its throat. "I am High Consul Xirax of the Viridian Collective. We welcome you to this neutral meeting ground." The voice from the translator was melodic, but carried an undertone that raised the hairs on Elena's neck. Kai stepped forward and performed the greeting gesture they'd practiced. "High Consul Xirax, I am Commander Kai Chen of Earth United. We come seeking peaceful relations between our peoples." The meeting chamber was vast with a curved table accommodating both human and Viridian physiology. For 4 hours, they discussed potential trade, shared scientific knowledge, and navigation rights to nearby star systems. The conversation seemed productive on the surface. "Your species has achieved much in a remarkably short time," Xirax noted, its scales shifting to a deep purple. "Most young races take twice as long to reach the stars." "We're quick learners," Kai replied with a diplomatic smile. Indeed, something in Xirax's tone made Elena look up sharply. Was that amusement? Condescension? Later, at the formal reception, humans and Viridians mingled while sampling compatible refreshments. James approached Elena discreetly. "Captain, something feels wrong," he whispered. Elena maintained her pleasant expression. "Explain." "I've been monitoring their security patterns. They're positioned for containment, not protection, and I've detected encrypted transmissions leaving the station since our arrival." Elena's smile faded slightly. "Are you certain?" "Yes, Mom. They're hiding something." Across the room, Kai was engaged with a Viridian scientist when he noticed a pattern. Every question about Viridian defensive capabilities was smoothly redirected, while every offer of human technological exchange was met with keen interest. They asked much but shared little. He caught Elena's eye across the chamber and gave a subtle shake of his head. She nodded once, understanding his concern. "We should return to our ship," Elena whispered to James. "Alert the crew to be ready for immediate." The lights suddenly dimmed. When they brightened seconds later, Viridian security forces had surrounded the human delegation, holding sleek devices that unmistakably resembled weapons. "What is the meaning of this?" Kai demanded, his diplomatic composure cracking. High Consul Zirak stepped forward, scales now pulsing with bright red patterns. "Commander Chen, Captain Rice, your species has been evaluated and found wanting. The Viridian Collective requires resources, and your solar system will serve our needs admirably." Elena stepped between the High Consul and Kai. "We came in peace. We offered friendship. And we accepted your offer long enough to learn your weaknesses," Zirax replied, its translator conveying cold efficiency. "Your ship's systems have already been disabled. Your crew is being detained." A Viridian guard seized Kai's arm. He wrenched free, but another caught him from behind. "Kai!" Elena shouted, moving to help him. James pulled her back. "Captain, we need to escape now. There's a maintenance passage behind us." Elena hesitated, watching as more of her people were captured. "Go," Kai shouted. "Warn Earth." Elena and James, along with 2 security officers, fought their way to the hidden corridor. Alarms blared as they raced through the station's service tunnels. "The auxiliary shuttle bay is this way," James said, checking the small device. "If we can reach a shuttle, we might make it back to the Endeavor." They turned a corner and found themselves face to face with 3 Viridian guards. A brief firefight left 1 human security officer wounded, but they pushed forward. The shuttle bay contained several small vessels. They boarded the nearest one. "Can you fly this?" Elena asked James. He nodded, studying the controls. "Similar enough to ours." "Hang on." The shuttle shot out of the bay just as more guards arrived. The Endeavor floated nearby, dark and silent. "They've already taken the ship," Elena said grimly. A massive Viridian warship decloaked above them. It hadn't been there before, or it had been hidden. The vessel was at least 10 times the size of the Endeavor. "Jump to emergency coordinates," Elena ordered. James activated the shuttle's small jump drive, and the stars blurred around them as they escaped. Hours later, in the relative safety of deep space, Elena watched a transmission being broadcast across all human communication channels. On the screen, High Consul Zirak stood tall, its scales shimmering with triumphant patterns. "People of Earth, your diplomatic mission has failed. Your representatives proved the weakness of your species. We have examined your technology, your military capabilities, and your resources. All are now forfeit to the Viridian Collective." The High Consul's translated voice carried unmistakable disdain. "Your species is young and primitive. You have no understanding of the galaxy's true nature. Surrender, and we may allow some of you to live as laborers." The Viridian actually laughed, a strange undulating sound that the translator struggled to convey. "You have 20 Earth days to lay down your weapons and prepare for our arrival. Resistance is futile." The transmission ended. Elena looked at the 3 surviving members of her team. Their stolen shuttle had limited power, damaged communications, and was weeks away from Earth at its top speed. "We need to warn them," she said. "The Viridians don't know everything about us. They don't know about Project Athena." James looked up from the navigation console. "There's a listening outpost at Epsilon Eridani. If we can reach it, we can send a faster-than-light message to Earth." Elena nodded grimly. "Set course, maximum speed." She looked back at the stars behind them, where the Viridian ships would soon be heading toward her homeworld. "They're laughing now," she said quietly, "but they have no idea what they've started." General Diana Vasquez stood in the command center buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. Around her, dozens of officers worked at screens showing the positions of Earth's known defenses. A priority alert flashed across every display. "Repeat that," she said to the communications officer. "Message received from Epsilon Eridani Outpost, General. Captain Rice and 3 survivors from the Endeavour made it there in a shuttle. The diplomatic mission failed. The Viridians have declared war. Diana's face hardened. She had warned the Security Council that first contact might go badly. Now her worst fears were realized. How long until Captain Rice reaches Earth? At least 4 weeks in the shuttle, General. And how long until the Viridian fleet arrives? 20 days according to their ultimatum. Diana nodded. Then we have no time to waste. Activate the Athena Protocol. Authorization Vasquez, Omega-7-3. The officer's eyes widened. Yes, General. All around Earth, hidden systems awakened from dormancy. Deep under the Antarctic ice, in a facility known to fewer than 100 people on the planet, Dr. Marcus Okafor received the alert on his secure terminal. He read the message and immediately stood. It's time, he told his startled research team. Athena Protocol is active. On Mars colony, Governor Sophia Lynn received the same alert. She walked to a secure chamber and pressed her palm against a scanner. A hidden door opened, revealing a command center that had never been used before. This is Governor Lynn responding to Athena Protocol. Mars' defensive grid is standing by. Similar scenes played out on Europa, Titan, and throughout the asteroid belt. Facilities that officially didn't exist began powering up. Ships that weren't in any public record prepared for launch. Back on Earth, General Vasquez addressed the United Earth Defense Council through a secure quantum link. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've prepared for has arrived. 20 days from now, a hostile alien fleet will arrive in our solar system. They believe we are defenseless. She activated a holographic display showing hundreds of ships hidden throughout the solar system. Project Athena is ready. For 40 years, we've been building this fleet in secret, using technology we reverse-engineered from the Ganymede anomaly. The Viridians know nothing about this. They think they're facing a handful of orbital platforms and some primitive ships. One of the council members, an older woman with concerned eyes, spoke up. Will it be enough, General? How advanced are these Viridians? They're advanced, Diana admitted. But thanks to what we learned from the Ganymede anomaly, we've developed technologies they won't expect. She turned to another screen. Dr. Okafor, please brief the council. The screen split to show Dr. Okafor in his Antarctic facility. Behind him, engineers worked on what appeared to be massive cannons. Council members, for the past 3 decades, we've been developing weapons and shields based on quantum entanglement and dark energy manipulation. The artifacts we discovered on Ganymede contained defensive designs specifically effective against civilizations like the Viridians. He stepped aside to reveal the device behind him. This is the quantum disruptor. It can neutralize the shield systems the Viridians rely on. We've installed them on all Athena vessels and defensive platforms throughout the system. General Vasquez nodded grimly. The Viridians believe they're facing a primitive species that will surrender without a fight. In 20 days, they'll learn just how wrong they are. Humanity's response. In the cold vacuum of space, the Viridian fleet approached Mars. High Consul Xirax, now fleet commander, stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the red planet grow larger on the main view screen. The conquest of Earth would cement his position in the collective's hierarchy. Scans show minimal defenses, reported his second-in-command, a small colony with basic shielding. Xirax's scales rippled with satisfaction. Destroy it. Let the humans see how easily their outposts fall. 5 Viridian warships moved toward Mars, weapon systems charging. They fired, expecting the colony to shatter under their assault. Instead, a shield flared to life around Mars colony, stronger than anything the Viridians had anticipated. The colony's defense platforms returned fire, immediately disabling one of the Viridian ships. Xirax leaned forward, scales shifting to alarmed yellow. How is this possible? Their technology is supposed to be primitive. Unknown, Commander, his officer replied. Their shields are using some form of quantum field we haven't encountered before. After a fierce battle lasting several hours, The Viridian ships finally overwhelmed Mars colony's defenses. The colony fell, but at the cost of 3 Viridian ships destroyed and 2 severely damaged. Zirax was not pleased. These humans are more resourceful than our intelligence suggested. No matter, their main world remains vulnerable. Aboard the Viridian flagship, in a holding cell designed for beings larger than humans, Commander Kai Chen sat with his back against the wall. Next to him sat Dr. Ilara Santos, a scientist captured from Mars colony. She had been working in a classified section when it fell. "They don't understand humans," Kai whispered. "They think we're weak because we offered peace first." Ilara nodded. "They also don't understand our technology. Did you see their surprise when our quantum shields activated?" "Yes," Kai said, working his hands through the restraints designed for larger wrists. "And they've made another mistake. They put us together." Ilara smiled as she too slipped her hands free. "What's your plan?" "First, we get out of this cell. Then we find a way to disrupt their ship's quantum stability matrix. A ship that can't maintain dimensional coherence is a ship that can't fight." On Earth, General Vasquez watched as reports came in about the fall of Mars colony. News networks showed people panicking in the streets of major cities worldwide. "They're terrified," said her aide. "They should be," Diana replied, "but not of the Viridians." She turned to face the massive display showing Earth's hidden fleet. "They should be terrified of what happens when humanity's back is against the wall." At that moment, a new transmission came through on all channels. It was Fleet Commander Zirax, his scales gleaming with arrogant confidence. "People of Earth, your Mars colony has fallen. Your outer defenses have proven inadequate. My fleet now approaches your moon. Surrender now, and we will spare your major population centers. Continue to resist, and we will turn your world to ash." His translator conveyed his undulating laugh. "Your resistance is admirable, but futile. Your colonies have fallen. Your homeworld stands alone. We will be merciful if you surrender now." General Vasquez shut off the screen and turned to her officers. "Send the activation codes to all Athena bases. It's time to show the Viridians what they're really facing." Throughout the solar system, hidden bay doors opened inside massive asteroids, underneath the surfaces of moons, and rising from the oceans of Earth. Humanity's secret fleet emerged, ships of all sizes, from agile fighters to massive carriers, powered-up engines that had been waiting for this moment. On the bridge of the EUS Nemesis, Earth's most advanced warship, Admiral Jackson Reeves received his orders. "Athena Fleet, this is General Vasquez. Operation Revelation is now active. The Viridians believe they face a primitive, defenseless world. It's time to show them how wrong they are." Jackson looked at the tactical display, showing the approaching Viridian fleet. They were in for a shock. The Nemesis' experimental quantum fold drive hummed as it powered up, ready to take the ship into battle faster than any vessel had moved before. "All hands to battle stations," Jackson ordered. "The enemy is laughing now. Let's see if they're still laughing when the human fleet arrives." Fleet Commander Zirax stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching Earth grow larger on the main screen. His fleet of 350 warships moved in perfect formation toward the blue planet. Intelligence reports showed only a handful of orbital platforms and perhaps 30 outdated ships protecting humanity's homeworld. "Final approach to Earth orbit in 20 minutes, Commander," his navigation officer reported. "Excellent. Prepare all weapons systems. I want their orbital defenses destroyed in the first wave." "Yes, Commander." The officer's scales flickered with anticipation. Despite the unexpected resistance at Mars, the conquest of Earth would proceed as planned. Perhaps Zirax would even be granted governorship of this new territory. Suddenly, alarms blared across the bridge. "Commander, multiple quantum signatures detected." "From where?" Zirax demanded. "Everywhere. Behind the moon, from Earth's oceans, from the asteroid belt. Hundreds of ships." Before Zirax could respond, his tactical officer shouted, "Energy spike. Something's emerging from slip space directly ahead." The space in front of the Viridian fleet rippled and tore open. Through the quantum rift emerged a massive warship unlike anything the Viridians had ever seen, the EUS Nemesis, flanked by a dozen heavy cruisers. Aboard the Nemesis, Admiral Reeves gave the order. All ships, engage targets. Deployment pattern Athena Omega. In an instant, the carefully ordered Viridian fleet found itself surrounded as human ships appeared from quantum folds throughout the solar system. Vessels emerged from hiding places in the asteroid belt, from beneath the lunar surface, and from Earth's oceans, ascending rapidly through the atmosphere. Impossible. Zirax hissed as the tactical display showed over 500 human warships surrounding his fleet. Their technology. It can't be. Sir, they're using quantum fold drives and phase shift technology, his science officer reported, scales paling to white. These are not primitive ships. All vessels, defensive formation. Zirax ordered. Prepare tow. He never finished the command. The first salvo from the Nemesis struck his flagship with devastating precision. Quantum disruptors tore through the Viridian shields as if they weren't there. On the Nemesis bridge, Admiral Reeves watched the battle unfold. Status report. Enemy shields failing across their fleet, Admiral. Our quantum disruptors are working exactly as designed. Their weapons can't penetrate our phase shift barriers. Reeves nodded grimly. Press the advantage. Target their command ships first. The space around Earth erupted in brilliant flashes as the battle raged. Viridian ships, for all their advanced technology, found themselves outmaneuvered and outgunned by the human fleet that had remained hidden until this moment. In his holding cell, Kai felt the ship rock from multiple impacts. Alarms wailed through the corridors. That's our cue, he told Ilara. They had freed themselves from their restraints and now worked on the cell door. Earth is fighting back. Ilara grinned. I knew General Vasquez wouldn't surrender. The Athena protocol must be active. Let's give our people a hand from the inside, Kai said as the door finally yielded. They made their way through the chaotic corridors, Viridian crew too preoccupied with the battle to notice the escaped humans. Reaching the central engineering section, Ilara examined the pulsing core. I can destabilize their quantum matrix, she said. It will cascade through their entire command network. Do it, Kai urged, standing guard at the door. Ilara's fingers flew across the alien controls, applying the knowledge she'd gained from years of studying the Ganymede anomaly. There, we have 2 minutes before it collapses. Time to find an escape pod, Kai said. On the flagship's bridge, Zirax watched in horror as his fleet was decimated. Nearly half his ships were already destroyed or disabled, while the human fleet had suffered minimal losses. How is this possible? He demanded. Their technology is beyond anything we expected. Commander, his engineering officer called, scales flashing anxious patterns. The quantum matrix is destabilizing. It's affecting all linked vessels. Stabilize it. I can't. The cascade is spreading throughout the command network. Zirax stared at the view screen as the human ships continued their relentless assault. His flagship shuddered as another volley struck. Commander, we must retreat, his second urged. We've lost over 200 ships. The quantum fold network is failing. Zirax's scales darkened with rage and humiliation. These humans, these supposedly primitive creatures, had deceived them completely. All remaining ships, he ordered, emergency withdrawal. Return to collective space. Throughout the solar system, the surviving Viridian vessels engaged their drives, fleeing the unexpected might of humanity's hidden fleet. On the Nemesis, Admiral Reeves received the report. Enemy forces in full retreat. Admiral, shall we pursue? Reeves considered for a moment. Negative. Let them go. Let them return to their collective and tell them what happened here today. 1 week later, in the rebuilt United Earth Defense Headquarters, General Vasquez stood before the Council and the assembled military leaders. Captain Elena Reyes, having returned safely to Earth, stood at attention nearby. The Viridian Collective has sent a formal communication, Diana announced. They wish to open diplomatic negotiations, real ones this time. Murmurs spread through the chamber. They've also released all human prisoners, including Commander Chen and the Mars colony personnel, she continued. Their message included something unusual, an apology. Elena stepped forward. General, do you believe they're sincere this time? Diana displayed the message for all to see. Their communication indicates they've reassessed their understanding of humanity. Apparently, they've never encountered a species that could develop advanced technology while maintaining such a convincing appearance of being less advanced. They underestimated our ingenuity, Elena said, and our foresight. Indeed, Diana replied. The Athena Protocol was created for exactly this scenario, hiding our true capabilities until they were needed, letting potential enemies underestimate us. She turned to address the entire assembly. The Viridians have requested a new diplomatic summit on Earth this time. They're offering technology exchange, mutual defense pacts, and opening their trade routes to us. And what do we do now? One of the council members asked. Diana smiled. Now we negotiate from a position of strength. We've shown the galaxy what happens when they laugh at Earth. We'll make sure they don't forget it. Outside the chamber, on the observation deck overlooking Earth, Elena stood with James, watching ships from the once-hidden fleet patrol the space around their homeworld. Do you think they'll ever try again? James asked. Another species might, Elena replied. But they'll think twice now. The story will spread through the galaxy, how the Viridian Collective, one of the most powerful forces in known space, was defeated by a world they thought defenseless. She smiled as a squadron of Earth's quantum fighters soared past the viewport, their engines leaving brief trails of blue light. They laughed at Earth, she said. They're not laughing anymore. Retriclaude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.